distinguished guests, leaders, dear friends, good morning. Title that there's no defense that cannot be attacked, and there's no drones or UAVs that cannot be fight against. So this is indeed shows that all drones can be fought against. Many people believe that anti-UAV is possible, but I would say it's still in its infancy. So today I would like to take this opportunity to share with you anti-UAV development and also a competition related to this topic. This is the background. I think the demand is already there. So right now there are more and more unlicensed flight of UAVs. In November 2013 took place in the capital airport in Beijing. So we took four of them were arrested. There was unlicensed flight of UAV. Later there were UAVs dropped on the ground and many people were injured. All of them were unlicensed flight, and some of them caused delay in commercial air traffic. Also, there were attacks in Russian airports. There are many, many examples. So indeed, there's need for anti-UAV. Maybe you say that if there are no criminals using UAVs, then we don't need that, right? Yes, indeed, but they still happens. So this was in Syria, an activity attacking Russian airport, one of the UAV used by them. To be honest, if you want to buy it in Shenzhen, it only took 3,000 RMB. So it's so cheap in today's inflation rate. So 50 kilometers, that's all it need to use an UAV to attack local facility. So how are we doing in this regard? Actually, fighting unlicensed UAVs and UAVs are different. The UAV industry is mostly based in Shenzhen, but anti-UAV is kind of all over in China. But in my humble opinion, I think basically the anti-UAV industry in China is still in its infancy. It's very hard to locate them, and it's very difficult to hit them. There's one thing certain, that DJI and other established UAVs and Osmo, if you want to run electronic interference on them, of course you should first use commercial models, either by DJI or other established players. But for other type of UAVs, it's very difficult to find. Some okay, some not available. It's not just technical difficulties, but there are other types of difficulties as well. Right now, sometimes we're seeing over-marketing. Sometimes even before running the testing, we began to publish or trumpeting our achievement in this area. Or we cherry-pick statistics that suit our purposes. And also, we are seeing internet celebrities trumpeting development in this area. There are typical slogans such with the introductions of XYZ, the world is safe, or our company successfully defend XYZ conference. Is that really you, or is it the police? Third, or our company's products solved one XYZ defense issue, and through research, we can further tackle XYZ issues. Are you, or some of the companies trumpeting that they have several number of bachelor's degree, master's, or doctors, but is it really going to help? Or we have academicians, but later it found that It's not the case. Some of them, they say, we have innovation labs, and with the academicians participating, but later it turned out only to be market schemes. So basically, in order to truly find ways to combat unlicensing UAVs, we have held a competition or challenge in 2018, organized by the Science and Technology Commission of the Central Military Commission in Incheon, a western city in China. The second competition was held also in 2019. So the organization I was in was responsible for holding this event. In 2018, there were 2 rounds of interception competition. So basically, there were 72 teams participating. The first stage lasted from September 16th to 20th. The second stage was run for 3 days in Inner Mongolia, one of the military base. This June and July, in just 12 days, we finished 134 teams. And then there was second stage. Yes, there were only 7 to 8 shortlisters, but there were 56 games. So all of the companies who want to make an attempt in this area. So how did they fare? So let's take a look. These were some of the pictures. I was the referee there, and also the operator of target drones. On the right is the Helan Mountain in Incheon City. On the left is Ala mountainous area. And the red line and the blue lines marks the separate areas. So the surveying contest basically judges on how precise your radar is and how far you can see. And the result is clear. No one is good enough. So we measure the performance by precision. We have a measuring module on this plane. And we require that your precision must be within 30 meters to pass. So precise, not just being able to see it. Many players claim that they can see the target, but not good enough for me. We require that you have to see it precisely. Fixed wing is 3 miles, and for multi-rotor, it's different. So this is fully automatic.
So the fixed wings and the multi-rotor different roads, and this demonstrates the night scenarios and the daytime scenarios. This is a scenario for the daytime when it takes off. Does it feel like a Second World War? Well, it's flying north for 20 kilometers, then turn to south for another 10. These are our night flights. We use the Dabai aircraft. Why is that? Because this is the aircraft involved in the early 2000s in Beijing. That's why we use it as a target aircraft. It takes off and then switch off its lights. So we want to use this to see how well they can perform when it comes to detection at night. And when it comes to attack, it's quite simple. We don't use those sophisticated systems. It's basically 100 by 100 meters. And 4 osmos and 2 fixed wings, 2 multi-rotor. Then they move all together into the center to get close to the target aircraft. They use the rocket bomb, real rocket bomb. It's all real. Everyone is 0.5 millimeters, and everything is so frightening. and they use electronic interference as well. If I enter the outer ring, then I fail. If I enter the inner ring, then I collect credits, and it can drive me away outside the inner ring, then they collect points. So this is the scenario. So for the defensive walls in the inner ring is made of sandbags. Now you can see we have dual engine target aircrafts. If these target aircrafts appear in the inner ring, then it's considered to be failure. Then what kind of anti-technology do we use? Then radar, photoelectric, photovoltaic, and composite models. Now we find that radar plus laser has proven to be the best. This is in 2018. We've seen all sorts of radars and photoelectrical methods. Then what else? Electronic interference is very important. Then we also have high power laser, land capture with networks, and in-air capture, collision, etc. These are kind of forced anti-technologies which has proven to be less efficient. Then how to defend all the competitors? The first one is to kill it all. Be what frequency you are at, we will kill you all. So we've made a poem around that. A full frequency interference aircraft. It's when we call it like positioning, it's actually plus and minus 180 degrees. It actually has covered it all, so it's kind of kill it all. It's to remove it all, to kill the eggs of the chicken, simply in order to win the competition. The second is to kill all the frequencies that appears. They don't care what frequency the aircraft may have. Then they killed even the operational aircraft. They say we would rather kill 100 innocent person than let free one guilty. And the second is to use the humans in it as well. They will have bionicles. So whenever they detect an aircraft, then all the aircraft and their troops will dash toward that direction to kill it. Then also we have the equipment-oriented models and the fisherman style and the power-oriented style and land and air missile style. Quite hilarious to see this diversity. So these are all the anti-technologies. The previous one was pretty good. This one is kind of messy, like a food stand. And also here you see the people hidden in the grass. They've got guns in their hands. Whenever they detect a aircraft, they will divert their guns there. So these are not guns. These are electromagnetic interferences. And this is the typically human eye style. And this looks pretty cool, right? Once they detect anything, their butt will be in the air because they will target the aircraft with the equipment in their hand. And these are our team responsible for the target aircraft. How does it work? Well, we make it real. That's the strategy. Our attack technology is simple. Just be real.
要么呢手动遥控
Data
方
link
式，
plus GPS guided
当它整
attack
个的信
and
任情况仅1/5
hand
的大气
remote
时候，期间
control
更
and
少，
visual
期间更少。
attack and
那
also
么经常会遇到选手们提出这
self-motivated
样的问题
attack.
可不可以告诉我
But
立
we've
马
got
这个频率呢？
several questions
可不
from
可以
the
告诉我立马这是
participants.
哪
Can you
儿
tell
呢？
us
从什么点
the
起降呢？
frequency
起
of
飞
the
点呢？
target
甚
aircraft?
至还
Where
如果
do
下
they
一轮能
take
比
off?
赛呢？
And
甚至还有一个
how
从
many
美政协委员的
will we
上
have
级意见
them in
说
the
我
air?
们单位是什么时候
And
指定的反制
will
射电
the
厂家
competition be paused if there is a rain?
下一句话马上就说，可
Some
不可以
people
不
are
开机
quite
你就自己掉下来呢？
overconfident that we are a company supported by a
我
certain
每个队公平，
big
比如说
player.
你飞
But then their second
一架一架
question
对我
is,
提出控价，不公
can
平。
you just
然后我的回答其实挺简单，什么叫公平呢？
play a game
我把所有
with
的
us,
参赛
like
者都
cooperate?
放
Once we open
把
fire,
所有
you
的参
just
赛队
fall.
都达成了一个
Well, this is quite hilarious.
一切按真的来，而
Well,
且赛场
that's
巴拉
not
山
how
之
it
前
works.
啊
Everything
这个
is
是不
real.
下雨，但基
Well,
本
in
上
that
是每
place,
一天刮大
there is usually no winds or rain in dry and June. But this year is quite the opposite. It's rain and wind every other day. However, we said that we have to be able to make it when it's weather like this because the terrorists won't pick
可以看看这个精彩的
good
场面在
weathers
瞬间点映。
to attack you. And these are the highlights of our competition. I'm sorry, it may run a little bit behind schedule. This is attacked by high power
实际上大家
laser.
愣打了10几秒。
You can see that
这
it
是大家
took
看到了为数不多
more
的
than
记录
10
场面
seconds.
啊，因为
This
基本上都有这
is quite rare actually. Only few of our target aircrafts are hit and collapsed. And these has fallen into actually outside the outer ring, so it
这
doesn't
是
count.
砸进内防线了，
This
不
is
光成功，
this landed into the
这
inner
是
ring,
双
so
方不利
it's a
被干扰的情况。
success. And this is our dual engine aircraft being interfered. We have quite severe cases when it comes to interference. This one falls into the inner ring as well.
嗯，
Okay.
那么比赛成绩意料之中难以接受啊。
Well,
去年的情况
for the
32
result is
个探测队
expected, but can't be easily accepted. Well, only 2 of the
那么打
24
击科目
passed,
24次探知队，
and for the attack is 2 out of
今年呢，
24. For the detection or discovery is 2 out of 32. That is the result of 2018. But if we look at 2019, it's a great progress in detection and discovery. However, when it comes to attack, it's
我的靶机
even worse because everyone is growing. Even our target aircraft is growing.
说我进阶
Some of the famous big brands didn't even make it, although they are kind of boasting about it online.
才20分，
Well, they said that they were top 3, but they didn't mention that they've got only 20 points. This is so typical of propaganda or marketing, over marketing.
打击赛
And last year, we
判断轨迹，
didn't manage to
于是我们都是用
detect the routes automatically, so we have the referees to help with that.
所有的飞机都给拦在内防线
You can see that all the aircraft were stopped, blocked from the inner ring. Pretty good. Is from
右上方被我打了
Zhongchuan
5个贯穿
and on
0
the
分，
right
左下方被我打了5个贯穿
top
0分，
5
有的还进去还跑过去了0分，右下方
5
打了5
tries
个
all
贯穿
failed,
也是0分。
0, and also
这个
the
呢，为什么直
2 at
接把
the
贯穿
bottom
也是0分呢？
is the
因
same.
为他是要起飞想抓我的飞机，结果我在打了
Why
贯穿
0
以后它自己
points?
掉了
Well, they want to capture our aircraft. However, instead of achieving that, they collapse themselves.
我的飞机在天上等着你抓。
So when it comes to defense, it's not that I'm waiting for you in the air for you to capture me. I'm everywhere. I'm flexible, and
它就是这个样子。
this is a real scenario.
那不叫好了。
They intruders won't coordinate with you. Otherwise, it's just a show.
有的时候
Then it's the
对频，而
interference.
且对频未必有用。
Sometimes
它也有一个功率的
frequency
半公比。
alignment
我在赛道上
works.
有时候会
Sometimes
把自己
it
的频
doesn't.
我有功率放大器的。
Well, we have power amplifiers on our aircraft, so sometimes they
第二，
can't
对
really
自
catch
主导
us.
航 GPS 对
Then
自导有
for
用，但是 GPS
Automatic navigation GPS can be helpful, but be cautious
有
otherwise.
些探测队
You may
上
not
台
be
就把
able
信
to
号
do anything with
结果
GPS.
到了70
Some
公里
of the
以外，环机场
participants opened their GPS once they were in the air to win the game. Otherwise, it was forced to close it by the nearby airport.
一般来说不会
And
大
so then it's the high power attack.
瞄或者跟不上，上不
It's
开。
not
目前
that
来说
efficient.
都是很失败的。
And for the network capture in the air,
但至少
on the land at the moment,
不成功。飞机
is not very successful or is very unsuccessful.
跟不上飞机瞄不准啊。
Similarly, the
然后飞机撞飞机跟不
network
了。
capture in the air has same problems. They can't locate it and they can't catch it.
就可以，结果他的小飞机机群先升空，等我把机过
Then for collision, sometimes say the timing is very important as well. So they took off before us, but when we got into the air, they ran out of power and collapsed.
又大又重，
Then it's the high power
尺寸又大又重，
electromagnetic
能量高，
pulse.
价格又贵。
It's expensive, it's high
那么
energy
最后
consuming.
呢，机载的
I don't think
航母
most of the private companies can afford it at all.
会飞的往
Then
后，刚才那个
they
怎么飞自己掉下来？
Built-in capture network on the aircraft. Well, I would say
也就是说，
it
现在
can't
目
really
前
catch up
没有
with the target aircraft. So we don't have a anti technology that can be used for all.
针对单目标的雷达和光电
So
检测已经基本成熟。然
conclude
后充分
in
准备条件下，这个
simple scenarios, single target radar plus
成绩依然很好。
photoelectric techniques are the best. And now, under sophisticated scenarios, we still need a lot of human interference or involvement. And when it comes to multi-target, the same. We need the human to detect it. And say for every team in the competition, they have only 40 minutes. Then I ask, how about 4 hours, 4 days, or 4
因
months?
为法机的飞飞的飞机，
不见得什么时候。
You don't know when these unlicensed UAVs will come. So you need to figure out how to monitor these targets without using human labor. And also you need passive detection technologies. In other words, multi-site detection radar. So I hope that local companies such as Wuxi are doing very well. Let's give them a big round of applause.
反制水平就更加令人担忧了。
And for fighting against anti-drones is even more worrying. Commercial drones is working very well, but for non-commercial drones, it's not good enough. It's very hard to figure out which angle the commercial drones are flying to us.
定向啊，它正负180度，领导提出愣了一下。
So in the past, the leaders asked me, so what is the level of precision? I said it's plus or minus 180 degrees. And the leader said, what do you mean 180 degrees? I said, yeah, because we don't have any precision to speak of.
只有一架进去了，
Third,
那么这个参赛队还说自己是蒙的啊，这没有一架
basically
能做到。
no radar is good enough to figure out the flying path of the UAVs.
以组网多站无源雷达代表的被动探测将这个方向，
And passive
仍然
multi-site detection is still on the way. Net capture is still on the way too. We need further development. And its power and precision of laser detection is still not good enough. Let me show you another video.
一个飞机你抓了。
This is to use net to capture the drone. This is last year the most fierce competition. 3 UAVs simultaneously in the air.
待会儿有一段视频。
It takes more than 10 seconds to hit it down with laser beam.
Ah, 这是自摆乌龙，把自己干掉了。
So this is 2 UAV targets collided.
这是太阳，大家可以查时间。然后我翻了个跟头，继续对打。
And then I operated the UAV target to 180 degree turn. Also, I changed from titanium alloy to aluminum alloy. And the battery was hit. That's why it dropped. If I didn't change it, probably it wouldn't have dropped.
好，停了。走，这就是激光打的情况。
That's how we use laser beam to hit it.
塑料没关系啊，但是呢，右上角这个。
So on the top right, the titanium material UAV, like the hitter team tried to hit it twice, but it didn't drop. So that's why it's we gave them 0 point. That's the aluminum UAV I just talked about. So the team said, I did it really good, but were you? So we installed a shield. After we added the shield, basically I did 8 layers of sewing beam and paper. Actually, you can use other as a buffer. Even you use food, like hams or pickles on it, still you cannot penetrate it. So why I chose Ella Mountain for running the test? So first of all, there are some optimal areas. The area is blue enough, we have a clear enough horizon, and the wind is very slow, and it's silent enough. And also, you know where the UAV target take off, and you give them binoculars. But this is the optimal situation. If for me to choose, I would choose in areas with very high buildings. Let me share with you one story. My hometown was in Typhoon. There are 2 brothers. One is a top student in some of the very good high schools. Later, he went to Tsinghua University. Another brother, the elder brother, only went for Peking University and Tsinghua University in college school. But later, he only said, I failed to go to Peking University and Tsinghua University. But actually, he couldn't make it to any university at all. So it's like some of the teams. Like some of the teams said, I can do better in more complex situation. But I would say, even in an ideal situation, you cannot do a good job. Then how can you do in a more complex environment? Some of the players complain the rules are not rational. But my answer is that, no, it's not the case. Like even in 10 kilometers, like 30-meter precision, this standard was published in 2017 when they got the specs from the CAC. I actually gave them additional leeway. So I asked them, have you give me inflated number on your specs? Second, I set the rules. You must be precise enough. You cannot keep on moving a goalpost. Also, they don't have this spirit of contract. So after you participate, you complain the rule is not good enough. So if you previously thought the rules are not good enough, then you shouldn't have participated. So, some of my reviews or reflections on this topic. Some people say that the military players have very high research cost, but we don't have enough financial resources. But I would say cost only matters when you have strong enough technical expertise. When you don't, then how much money you invest doesn't make a difference. And second, climate shouldn't be your excuse. If you're good enough, climate won't be your excuse. Because a licensed UAV flight won't pick and choose which climate conditions they fly in. So right now, it's still a long way to go from detecting which are the enemy target and which are the home target, and let alone to figure it out in all climate conditions. So unmanned and manned observation. Right now, multi-site detection is already reached a precision of less than 100 meters. We also have to talk more about automatic observation. This is achievable, but only one domestic companies can achieve that. Also, automatic observation is the precondition for further interference. You cannot rely on human labor alone. So hopefully going forward we can make breakthroughs with unmanned observation or monitoring. So these are the mechanisms behind. I'm not going to go into details. So actually, apart from unmanned vehicle detection, you can also use for strategic missile launch. So this is the orbit they run this time. So very similar. So what anti-UAV system we use? First of all, it's comprehensive, 360 degree. Someone say we can have major priority areas. But even if you have priorities, you still have to make sure that some of the angles are bulletproof. Second, you need multi-tiered approach. In the test, we found that if you use electronic magnetic interference alone, then you don't have any fail-safe. Maybe for long range, you can use electronic magnetic, and for short range, you need a combination of electromagnetic and cannon. But there are other limits as well. Also, you need precision. Say, for example, in a major event, electronic magnetic interference cannot be used because it interferes with the event. Also, manned and unmanned testing should be combined. So this is the requirement for the future. So if you're committed to this industry, you have to know where the future lies in. So what are some of the companies that are doing relatively well? So Zhuzhou Remote, the base in Wuxi, and for detection, there are several players that can basically achieve 30 meters precision, but they can only use for like 90 degree. And also they fail in terms of cost indicators. For low intensity defense, most of the case is achievable. Basically requires low fuel consumption and long operation time.
以后的发展方向，
Going forward,
基于城市
well, several things.
无源地位
City-based,
等等等。
no source location.
还是这一况，大家现在是不是可以更加有深刻的
Again, I guess you now know more about this
也没有反
sentence.
你高我也高，
There's no defense that cannot be break, and no UAV that cannot be fought against. So only by continuously evolving can we make better
写
technologies.
了一个作弊宝典攻略，这是1.0版啊，2.0版。
So this is basically the code for UAV 1.0, and the 3.0 is already in the making. So you can take a look at this.
80%发生在我的阿拉善赛场。
So 80% of these cheating tactics took place in the ALA test.
着作啊，随手画了几个图。
This is some of the illustrations I draw.
一排桌子一排箱。
So in some cases, there are a group of operators
然后飞机一来，
monitoring different frequencies.
手持枪呢就跟我
And
们
these 5 guns are like 5 cannons trying to hit the target.
然后左边呢叫不务正业型，他根本不管飞机从哪儿来，他就看我们这几个裁判。
On the left, basically, they are not trying to detect where the target drones are. They're just trying to locate our eyesight, which direction we're looking
最后
at.
一个是不看规则。
Or there are other players who didn't read
这个
our rule
什么
book.
叫赵德云冠呢？这是在去年的季节赛期间，去年的
This took place
应该是
last October 27th
号那一天。
or October 29th.
远处那个人，那是个人，然后他看，
So there was a figure
然后他就拿这个
far away.
干扰器一照，
He used the electronic interference to
他可高兴了，拿一对讲机，哇哇哇
look
哇，
look at it, and then it goes back, and then he was very happy. He said,
又转一圈，然后再照，
and then he took it again and again,
就拍了拍翅膀，
and it turned out that was an eagle.
已经傻了。于是这时候马机过来以后，他再也就不反应。
And then when the target drone came, he didn't do any maneuver. So they couldn't even detect which was eagle and which was target drones.
这是阿拉善当情况，这是今年情况。
So this was the situation in Ala Mountain.
啊，这是
Even in June, it was raining.
很有意思啊。啊，身上披的不是草，是毛线。
You can see like
这是靶机，
the surface.
啊，这是当时的情况，这是赛场情况，
This is the test
这是公
field.
安部装载局把它录入到这个装备的里面情况。
This is the award-winning ceremony.
那么今年是前10名，
So this year, we have a top 10 award winner.
大风天，
This is a windy weather.
点一下，
Can take a look.
是不是很像未来世界啊？
Does it look like the world in the future? It's a sandstorm. Looks quite futuristic.
再一个，
So
3点，8级风，飞机垂直降落，空翼
huge
垂直降落。
wind and the fixed wing has to land vertically. Even in such conditions, we carry on with our mission.
没事儿，没摔坏。
It's okay.
啊，
It's not broken.
错了，对不起。啊，专业参赛。啊，
Okay,
开个玩笑，
professional
自己开个玩笑。
competition coordinator. This is a
到现
joke.
在为止已经打了
Our
106场，在国内没人比我强。
Target aircraft
有谁
has
愿意接受攻击？
fighten 106 rounds of battles. We are the best in the nation. If you are not convinced with that, come to us and let's
谢谢，
have a
感谢
competition.
吴翔